All new, coming up on this week's edition of the Met Report, find out the shockingly low percentage of students that voted in the student government elections.
That's right. And we talk about the Student Government Assembly. Could the current administration be trying to throw over a Democratic vote? Coming up next. Welcome to this week's edition of the Met Report. I'm Kate Christensen.
And I'm Lisa Gennaro. We begin this week with more for you on the Metro State name change. Although Metro State may be excited for the new name change, University of Denver is not so thrilled. The school fears that the closely related names may cause some confusion between the two institutions. University of Denver students expressed their concerns on Let's Go DU blogspot. A post from DG Goddard said, "You can't just rename a soft drink Coca State Cola and think you're going to get away with it. Our chancellor needs to grow a pair and do whatever it takes to stop this." To view more comments from DU students, you can go to letsgodu.blogspot.com. And now Anthony Castor joins us to give us his opinions on the name change controversy.
Thank you, Lisa. I just don't understand. Denver State University, Denver University, University of Colorado at Denver, Colorado State University, University of Colorado. All these higher education institutions have basically the same name, just switched around a bit. And yet DU is heavily offended that we would so much consider a name change from Metro State to Denver State. They say that a name change would violate copyright. Please, DU students also say that we would tarnish DU's 147-year history. What? First of all, you need to relax. Take off your hipster pants and your boat shoes. It's gonna be okay. We're not trying to infringe on anybody's rights. We're just trying to better reflect what kind of school we attend. See, the difference is in the details. If we really wanted to be like you, we'd be privately funded. Thus, we would drop the state in our name, because all we ever hear is that Denver isn't a state. Well, good work, everybody. It means that we are state funded, unlike DU. Every state has similar names, yet a totally different identity. University of Colorado, Colorado State University, Pennsylvania State, state-funded of course, and University of Pennsylvania, a prestigious Ivy League school. University of Portland, a private school, Portland, Oregon that is, and Portland State University, the urban school that is also state-funded. Similar names, no harm, no foul. See, I wouldn't really be surprised if DU took out $90,000 for an ad campaign to stop our school from making progress towards a name change, which I appreciate, be yourselves, but the sad fact of the matter is that most of our departments don't just have 90K sitting around. In fact, most attendees are first-generation college students trying to make a difference in the world. My point is this: DU, be yourselves, but better. You do you, and we're going to keep rising, whether or not you appreciate it. If CSU and CU don't fight about their names, then why should we? Kate?
Thanks, Anthony. The new student body president is already facing impeachment. The Metro student body voted this week, and according to the election results, the new SGA president is Jesse Altum, along with the vice president, Tessa Farrell Jones. But the new president-elect is already being challenged. Kyle and Ian, who are running against Jesse and Tessa, filed 10 complaints against the new president-elect. There will be an open meeting on Friday, April 29th, to talk further about the topic.
Out of the 23,453 students enrolled at Metro State for this semester, spring 2011, only 573 of us voted in the elections last week. That's an approximate 2% of Metro student body. Students can decide at these elections to vote for RTD passes and other controversial issues such as smoking on campus.
Don't really care.
Because I don't vote in real elections, so I don't want to vote in fake ones.
I didn't know about it.
He has made appearances on the Today Show, but his story has caused more people to appear. Lieutenant Dan Choi, a gay officer from the Army, was fired for his sexuality. He was then rehired due to don't ask, don't tell policy. Faced with a lot of hatred, Lieutenant Dan says that you have to be strong. Let's take a look.
My message to them is speak their truth. Speak it without shame and without any kind of apology. You owe nobody an apology when you are telling the truth.
And just a couple feet away from St. Cajetan's, while the queer symposium was going on, a group surrounded a man speaking out against the LGBTQ community and having sex before marriage. It is not clear whether or not the man was here because of Lieutenant Dan, but he caused a lot of attention. Arguments between onlookers ensued, and this caused a scene, causing administration and the Auraria police to break up the group and ask the man to leave campus. Auraria campus, get ready for some fun. The second annual Auraria Formal will be held in the Tivoli Turn Hall on April 22nd. There will be music, food, dancing, and some great DJs. Tickets are $5 a person and $8 a couple. And remember to wear something formal. Now, Craig F. Walker is the 2010 Pulitzer Prize winner for feature photography. Last Monday, the Metro State student and staff photographer at the Denver Post gave a lecture and slideshow here on campus on his award-winning photo essay of Army soldier Ian Fisher.
I've seen Iraq and I've experienced the slums of Iraq, or whatever you want to call them.
Mr. Ken Bizio from Metro State's journalism department invited Walker to share his thoughts and his photos from his experience following an American soldier throughout his journey in the Army. The award-winning photo essay exposes the true life of one Colorado high school student everywhere, from graduation to basic training in Iraq and even the personal relationships inside of Fisher's life.
This past week was one of the toughest in American history. The Met Report would like to take a minute to remember all those who lost their lives. This past week was the 16-year anniversary of the Oklahoma City bombing, where 168 died and 680 more were injured. Also this past week was the 12-year anniversary of one of the worst school shootings in American history at Columbine High School, where 2 gunmen opened fire on their classmates, killing 13 and injuring 24 before taking their own lives. The Met Report would just like to send our thoughts and prayers to all those affected by these tragedies.
Now, spring has arrived. Auraria campus is geared up once again for the spring fling. Met Radio broadcasted live from the Tivoli Commons, promoting Metro clubs and organizations. Students were able to get a taste of the campus culture and festivities. This year was actually a huge turnout with over 100 organizations involved.
The students on Auraria campus have spoken and voted to keep the RTD bus pass. Combined between the 3 schools, over 2,000 people voted, and 94% of those were in favor of keeping the bus pass. The estimated cost for the 2011-2012 school year is about $70, a $9 increase from the year before. A similar pass would cost $700 per semester for the general public.
Did you happen to see that cloud of smoke hovering over Civic Center Park? No big deal, it was just the annual 420 event down at Civic Center Park, where everyone gathered to celebrate 420. It's a nationally celebrated holiday that started with just a few teenagers in 1971. 420 celebrates the usage of marijuana recreationally and medicinally. Once again, people gathered from all over to indulge at Civic Center Park and CU Boulder on the Northern Quad on April 20th. However, this year was a little different because in the past, with the legalization of medical marijuana in the last few years, there were vendors and dispensaries that were in attendance to promote their businesses.
A man who committed suicide in a downtown luxury high-rise Sunday night also caused a hazardous material scare with the chemical he used to kill himself. The 12th floor resident in the 1600 Glenarm Apartments used hydrogen cyanide to kill himself. And at 7 p.m., the residents of the apartment below him saw the liquid dripping through their air vents. 2 floors were evacuated and 2 residents were taken to the hospital. Hydrogen cyanide is a poisonous, flammable liquid used in industrial processes and has a history in chemical warfare. No information about the man has been released except that he was found dead in his closet. And now it's time for World News. Detainees at an Australian immigration detention center in Sydney started a riot and burned down 9 buildings. Protests at detention centers have become more frequent as they become more and more crowded. The riot started on the rooftop of one of the buildings with 2 of the detainees and quickly spread to involve 100 people. Riot police called in to assist the center's unarmed guards, but according to Australian officials, no injuries have been reported.
On the one-year anniversary of the BP oil spill in the Gulf, BP filed a lawsuit against Swiss-based Transocean and Cameron International. In the lawsuit, BP claims that the safety systems on Transocean's deepwater rig had failed. They are suing the maker of the rig's blowout preventer. They claim the device failed to stop the huge oil spill. BP is asking that both companies should help pay for the tens of billions of dollars in liabilities resulting from that oil spill.
France and Italy governments have said that they will send small teams of military officers to advise Libyan rebels who are seeking to topple Gaddafi. French officials said fewer than 10 would be sent, while Italy officials announced that 10 would go. Meanwhile, the UN has said that reported use of cluster munitions by Gaddafi's forces could amount to international crimes.
Laura Griffiths is joining us here for the latest scoop on Hollywood. Laura?
Thanks, Lisa. Welcome to Entertainment This Week. I'm Laura Griffith, and I have all the info on the celebrities you love to hate or hate to love, either one. To start this all off is a new celebrity mugshot to add to the collection, and you may call me a bad person, but I love a good scandal. Who doesn't, really? Well, Nicolas Cage was arrested last week in New Orleans on charges of domestic abuse, battery, and disturbing the peace and public drunkenness. Apparently, Cage was arguing loudly on the street with his wife, Alice. He grabbed her arm roughly, but she didn't seem to be hurt. He then started hitting cars and tried to get into a taxi, at which point the police joined the scene, realized Cage was highly intoxicated. After Cage yelled at the officers, never a good idea, they took him down to central lockup. The star posted an $11,000 bail and was released from police. Quite a story, but the only thing I take from it is the disturbing the peace charge. Shouldn't that have happened months ago after Drive Angry 3D? Come on now, people. On a happier note, 30 Rock star Jane Krakowski is now a mama. On April 13th, she and fiancé Robert Godley had their first child, a baby boy, Bennett. Seems to be a bit of a theme on 30 Rock, with Elizabeth Banks having a child via surrogate last month, and Tina Fey just announced she's pregnant with her second child. Sounds like some fun and crazy times on the 30 Rock set. Rewinding a bit from babies to weddings, the royal wedding is just a week away and girls all over the world are dying to see Kate Middleton's dress. That is no easy task, as this frock has been a better kept secret than those magazines under your mattress. Recently, London's Daily Mail, a tabloid newspaper, came out saying that Kate Middleton designed the dress herself. She pulled ideas from Renaissance fashions and the late Princess Diana's wedding gown. It is reportedly ivory, satin, and lace with a pearl button detail and a 10-foot train. Well, unlike the dress, it is no secret that no matter what Kate Middleton wears, she'll look beautiful. Moving away from anything exciting or even sane, Donald Trump has been no stranger to the public spotlight lately, and this week is no different. But instead of giving his opinion of our president, this time he is going after the one and only Jerry Seinfeld. Apparently, Mr. Seinfeld pulled out of a charity fundraiser held by Mr. Trump's son because he is uncomfortable with the ongoing tirade about Obama by Trump Sr. And I'm sorry, but who isn't? Trump lashed out with a public letter with several jabs at the funny man, including, quote, "What I do feel badly about is that I agreed to do and did your failed show, The Marriage Ref, even though I thought it was absolutely terrible. Despite its poor ratings, I didn't cancel on you like you canceled on my son in St. Jude. I only wish I did," unquote. Yikes. But Jerry Seinfeld has already taken the high road. Before Donald went public with his warm and fluffy feelings, Seinfeld compensated both the Eric Trump Foundation and St. Jude. As for Trump, well, we're just going to have to see what he does next. Well, that's it for entertainment. Remember, I'm Laura Griffith, and we'll see you next week. Back to the desk.
Thanks, Laura.
You know what? I was thinking about getting a hairpiece like Donald Trump. I think it would look really good on me.
Maybe that is the key to getting a super hot wife.
Good point.
Mark Babish is here with an update on spring sports for us.
No, that's right, guys. Softball, baseball getting in line. Also track and field. Tennis is almost done. It's been crazy spring semester. Yeah. But we're going to go ahead. Let's get started with Metro State softball. As softball headed into the weekend series versus Mesa State, knowing that they had to take at least 3 games from the Mavericks for a chance to host their 3rd straight RMAC tournament. After splitting day one's doubleheaders, Metro was looking for the sweep. And they would not get it as Mavs senior pitcher Sarah Jordan stumped the Metro lineup, striking out 2 and only allowing 3 hits. Center fielder Gabrielle Parra brought home 2 RBIs in the 5th inning. Metro State goes down 3-0. In Game 2, Metro's bats came alive for 8 runs, including a couple of 3-run innings. Both Janessa Tassone and Kelsey Tillery had 3 RBIs on the day. Caitlin Jinks picked up her first win of the season for the Roadrunners. With the series split, softball remains in 2nd place behind Cardinal School of Mines, which means Mines will host the RMAC tournament May 5th and 6th. Now moving to the other diamond sport, Metro Baseball returned home to Auraria after sweeping their series with New Mexico Highlands. Paul Meyer has more.
Metro State, winners of 6 straight, looks to continue their hot streak as they welcomed in conference leader Nebraska Kearney. Saturday, Game 1, Kearney already up 2-0, trying to make it 3-0, but David Fox guns down the runner at home on a great throw from center. 5th inning, Brandon Brown hits a 2-run triple to help Metro rally to take an 8-4 lead. 6th inning, Bradshaw Perry works out of a huge bases loaded, nobody out jam, but the Lopers would score 5 more times in the last 3 innings to take Game 1 9-8. Game 2, Lopers show us why they're the best in the RMAC. Jake Drager on the mound, rough day for him as he unloads 2 wild pitches and a pass ball. 4th inning, Andrew Hakey makes it 8-1 Lopers with a huge blast. That would be the story for the rest of the game as Kearney blows out the runners 13-5. We caught up with Coach Carcione afterwards.
That was huge, you know. One of our better hitters, in the conference comes up and he hits the ball hard, but happens to be at our second baseman. We roll a double play and get out.
Sunday, Metro looked to redeem themselves. Game 1, Roadrunners explode for 6 runs in the 2nd and the 6th innings. They blow out Nebraska Kearney 19-5. Zach Krieger went 4 for 5 with 3 RBIs. Lopers, though, would blow out the Roadrunners 12-2 in the final game. For the Met Report, I'm Paul Meyer.
For the past couple weeks, only one thing around campus has been said more than winning. And that is Metro's getting a football team. Wait, let me correct that sentence. Metro State's getting a club football team. That's right, a club team. Not an NCAA Division II team that will play in the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference, but a team that will be playing semi-professional teams this spring. Now, granted, football does cost a lot, and all the funds that are being used to support Metro's current teams would have to be redistributed. Metro has 13 sanctioned NCAA sports, and out of those 13, 7 of the teams have been ranked in the top 25 in the past year. But you know what? You're right. Just for football, we should stop having all these great teams at Metro. I've covered Metro sports for 4 years at the Met Report. I've seen the empty sidelines at the soccer field when 2 top teams are playing. I've seen an empty basketball arena when 2 undefeated teams are fighting for first place. I've seen softball win championships with no students in the stands. So please, tell me why the people in charge of Metro's club team think they will have any success of getting students involved. And don't answer that question with, it's football. Because what Metro needs are students to realize they have a tremendous opportunity to see some great action. When they finally do, everyone will say, winning.
That's really great. Thanks, Mark, for sharing with us.
That's a really good point. I agree with you about the club.
Football has a lot of fan base, but here at Metro, I think that we should just keep our teams.
So it'll definitely be interesting. The first club football game, April 30th, 6 p.m. over at Hinckley High School. Students get in free, so if you want to check it out, feel free to. I know I'm going to see what the club team's all about.
Right.
We'll see how many students actually show up.
Yeah, definitely. Metro State is a firm believer in giving back to the community, and at times it can feel difficult to find an outlet to do so. But we have an opportunity for you to give back on Saturday, April 30th from 8:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. You can join volunteers for Outdoor Colorado to help build public trails at the Rocky Mountain Arsenal National Wildlife Refuge. The goal is to make sure that the public can access parts of the site and are building and restoring trails to make that possible. Metro State, along with other volunteers, will be working to make that arsenal a place for the public to enjoy healthy and fun outdoor recreation and learning opportunity. Again, this is on Saturday, April 30th, and if you're interested in volunteering, please call 303-556-2595.
Well, that is it for this edition of the Met Report. For Mark Babish, Kate Christensen, and the entire Met Report staff, thank you for being with us, and we'll see you on campus.